Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel where today I am back on the War Thunder Update 1.87 development server, and I'm going to be taking a look at the M1A1 Abrams. So in this video we're just going to do some looking over the stats, a test drive, and then I have some game footage for you. So first off, this vehicle is a Tier 7 American tank, the first Tier 7 MBT, with a rating of 10.0 as of the first iteration of the dev server. So this is an M1 with a 120mm M256 cannon. This is a modification of the L44 that is very well known and used on the Leopard 2. So, you know, you also have a 50 cal, you then have two 7.62mm machine guns, one coaxially mounted, one on top of the turret. You then also have 12 smoke grenade launchers. Of course, smoke grenades are a modification, so you'll need to research that. Turret rotation speed's 31.2 degrees per second, better than some MBTs, but certainly it is a fairly decent rounded number there. Vertical guidance, -9, +20. Very, very good there. Far better than any of the Russian MBTs, and only a little bit off of the gun depression of the Challenger 2. Reload rate, this is where this thing's very good. 5.9 seconds. Very, very good reload rate there. Crew, of course, you have a 4-person crew, driver, loader, gunner, commander, 56.8 tons of weight. Fairly heavy, but you do then have a 1,500 horsepower engine, which gives you a maximum speed of 45 miles an hour. And generally, I don't know if it's just that this one is spaded, and the ones I drive usually are not, because my Abrams isn't spaded yet. This does feel a bit more mobile. I don't have the IP, admittedly, so it might just be that the M1... This is effectively an IP with a bigger gun, so it might just be that the IP M1 improved the mobility of the tank. Do let me know if you have much experience with M1s, because personally, I don't really. So now we're going to take a look at the protection analysis of the vehicle. We're going to go with the T80U, the brand new Russian Tier 7 MBT, and we're going to take a look at its best APFSDS shell. So as you can see, turret cheeks, this is at 5,000 meters, the longest range you can do. Turret cheeks are fine, but as you can see, that turret wing weak point, whenever I'm talking about the M1 and killing it especially, that is where you want to shoot, that weak point where the turret wing is. It will go through, fragment, knock out the cannon breech, knock out the crew in the turret. Lower frontal plate can be a good place to hit, but generally that is actually a very strong point. Another thing to possibly think about is if you have a shell that is very good on high angles, although this angle is a bit extreme, the upper frontal plate, the sort of very, very highly angled plate there, can be good to hit. But on the other hand, that might actually ricochet and bounce into that weak spot where the turret wing is, so that can certainly be another good position to hit on the tank. So before going into a test drive, I came to the realization that this tank was not American enough. So what I did was I decided to chuck on some Eagle decals with the US flag, make it nice and patriotic, you know. So there we go, that's our Abrams. We're taking out the Heat FS round and the APFSDS. So yeah, let's get going. So we're starting off with the Heat FS. So as you can see, decoration, it's on point. This is how you should decorate it. It's very good camouflage. There is an enemy tank, as you can see. The Heat FS, it explodes through. It just murders the crew. Of course, that is a far earlier the tank. That tank's far earlier than what you're probably going to face. Having that in the test drive is not really useful. It's not a tank you're generally going to face, so I don't really see the point of having it there. There's a T64. Not going to shoot with him yet. Heat FS at long range on a T64, yeah, I'm not going to try it. But there you go, see, again, the Heat FS, very good round for knocking out turrets and stuff to prevent the enemy shooting. The APFS, it has a tendency of either fragmenting and killing the entire tank, or it will simply just knock out one or two things, and then the enemy will be fine. So, it's not exactly a very consistent shell in terms of damage. That is unless you really know where to hit. If you hit the perfect position, you will actually be able to finish off the enemy. But as you can see, very powerful gun. This does a hell load of damage. It rips stuff to shreds very easily. Obviously stuff like the T10 there, knocked out the turret ring and knocked out 2 of the turret crew members. That's going to, in an actual practical game scenario, that would have effectively disabled the tank. You would have been able to drive up to him, pump in a shot and finish him off. And there we go. He's on fire. He's got some injuries in his crew. So all it's going to take is one more shot to finish him off, and then that's going to be the end of it. There we go. So that's the end of the test drive. We'll come back and do another in a minute just to get a second look at how the tank performs. We'll maybe use a different camo. But before we do that, let's go take a look at some game footage. This is ground realistic footage from the Alaska map on the dev server. Alaska was the only map we had the possibility of using, so I would like to know how it would work on other maps. So there's another Abrams. Hit the back of the turret. Generally, if you do that, the ammo load will tend to explode, which you know, generally an ammo load exploding in the face of a crew member doesn't end so well. So this was a funny one, actually. I was just sitting here, I was camping a little bit, and, you know, I began to reverse back, just because I don't want to be too obvious. I look forward, and where is it? There it is. Oh my god, it's an XM1. So, he came shooting across. I shot him when he was mid-air, hit the underside, I think, and I actually knocked out two of the crew members. Cannon breach out, so now I know it is perfectly safe to engage him. He cannot shoot me. Knock out the engine, because the thing is, he is a fairly mobile tank. He could escape if I was a bit lazy. So, you know, I knocked that out, fired another shot in, and that was the end of it. That was second kill that game, and after that, the game did end. Me and a teammate did start capping one of the points, but by the time we were mid-cap, the game ended. And, you know, two kills in that game. I did get hit a few times, but nonetheless, it was generally a pretty decent game. So I was fairly happy with that one. That was actually my first game in the M1A1, and I haven't got a huge amount of experience with driving M1s. So it was interesting, and I do like the A1. It's a fairly mobile tank. The gun does pack quite a punch. I do have a decent amount of experience with the L44 gun on the Leo 2K, the Leo 2A4, the Leo 1 A1 L44. General experience with that type of gun. This one obviously has more powerful shells though. So there we go, disabled the Type 74. He did then get killed by a friendly, so I got an assist for that one. But I wasn't really bothered about getting an assist there, purely because then an enemy tank drove out in front of me, and yeah, he died. So I actually hit the track, and it went in sort of through the side armor diagonally and knocked out the turret crew. So that was generally a kill I was fairly happy with. Next up, moving along, there's a bot near the enemy spawn. I'm just keeping an eye on that Tiger 2, and then I see, oh, what's that there? Oh, it's an enemy Centurion. So I'm not sure what he was doing. He was reversing towards us, and then he stopped. So, you know, I get their bots, but I didn't realise they were meant to be that stupid. Anyway, though, moving along, I was actually near the end of the game. I was almost killed by a by a Russian boy, little T-80. So fired a shot into him. He can't, well, he can't do anything anymore. I'm on fire, but I take the decision to just kill him and then put the fire out later. Fire first, think later. And there we go, knocked him out. Hit the crew. Upper frontal plate went through the head of the driver and then killed the gunner. So, good stuff there, and it put down some smoke grenades, repaired the tank, and after that it was the end of the game. So generally 2 games there that I was generally happy with. I would have liked to have got more footage, but unfortunately the dev server was only up for so long, and I was very tired, so I decided to go to sleep instead of getting more footage. But nonetheless though, pretty decent stuff. And now we're going to go look at one more test drive in the M1 with the desert skin. Just really demonstrating again the power of this gun. Obviously the previous M1 has a 105. The 105 gun, the shells are smaller, therefore they will not pen as much. This is a bigger gun, so you have more force on the shell, it goes faster, and also the shell is bigger, you will do a lot more damage. And as you see, APFSDS there, IT1. Again, the IT1's not really something you're going to face with that often, but generally it's generally it is something that's sort of good target practice, I would say, on the test driving course. Anyway though, so I've knocked out quite a few things so far. It is a nice looking tank. I say the earlier M1s, the gun looked very small compared to the tank. This one, the gun's just the right size, I would say. It's very nice looking. Certainly I need to finish grinding the IP so I can get this thing. Fingers crossed I'll be able to get it on a test drive from Gaijin, make a video on it fairly soon after the update. While I'm test driving, I might actually use the A1 to grind the IP and then start grinding the A1 itself. So, you know, it's weird tech tree grinding inception right there, using a tank to grind itself. It's quality stuff. Anyway, though, you know, doing quite a bit of damage here, as you can see. I did semi-miss that last shot. It didn't go so well, but there, cannon barrel out, so it's pretty good. At this point, I had been on the dev server for about 6 hours, and I was incredibly tired. So, shooting accuracy sort of went out the window a little bit, but nonetheless, I was able to still get some footage for a video. That was the plan sort of last night. It was just get something to use. But nonetheless, it's a decent tank. He's on fire, he's going to burn to death, and there is another enemy tank off in the distance, and there we go, that's him dead. I didn't actually look back, but I don't know whether he just burnt to death or exploded. His ammo rack might have gone up. Looks like a lot of smoke though, so I might make the assumption that he exploded, which, you know, certainly entertaining for one thing. Anyway though, last enemy tank just over there. Let's see if we can get a snipe, shall we? Peek over the hill, there he is. Okay, that did not work so well. That seemed to have hit the ground a little bit. Anyway though, that's the exhaust smoke system, by the way. I thought I might as well take the opportunity to demonstrate. This does have exhaust smoke system. It's a modification. And it also has smoke grenades, which I shall demonstrate in a second. There we go. Cannon breach out. He can't shoot anymore. Effectively disabled right there. And one more shot. Yep, there we go. Okay. So I'll quickly demonstrate the... I'll get away from the exhaust smoke system smoke trail. And I'll give the smoke grenades a quick test. See what kind of coverage. I believe that they fire in 2 loads, 2 lots of smoke grenade, 2 batches of smoke grenades. So I believe that's how they fire. So you can afford to use them. Yeah, there we go. So you still have 6 left. So it fires in 2 loads. Full coverage in front of you. Very useful for repairing. Of course, then you have the option, since you have more of them, to turn your turret and drop the smoke grenades in another direction, which could also be better if you want to cover a larger area. Anyway, though, that's it for the M1A1. Generally a very nice looking tank. Very user-friendly, I would say. It's just easy to use. But one thing I did find is that the gun breach gets knocked out very, very easily. I would make the assumption that that is because of that turret ring weak spot underneath the gun. There's a big gap that you can see. I think that's why. Shells go through there and just knock out the gun breach. Anyway, though, I'm going to end the video there. So thank you very much for watching. You know, what do you think of the M1? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I think it's a pretty decent tank, although granted, I do not have much experience with them. Anyway, though, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.